I welcome you to this lecture. But first and foremost, I would like to apologize for the little issues we had today with the projector at the church, and I was unable to show practically or to do a demo of how to use this, generative pre-trained transformer called ChatGPT. So I decided to record this video to show you real life examples on how you can put ChatGPT to good use. Amos Peter is my name, and I welcome you to listen to this video. Now, as you can see, if you check my address bar here, it's written chat.openai.com. Even though I will not want to bother us with the process of registration, I've already, highlighted that in the chart. Once you just type chat.openai.com and you press enter, it takes you to a page where you will be asked to sign up as a new beginner, and your email address will be asked, your date of birth, and then your phone number, and thereafter you are going to receive, a one-time password for authentication before you proceed. And once you are there, you can see this is just a simple interface of how ChatGPT looks like. It's pretty simple. You can see here we have ChatGPT 3.5, which is the free version of the generative pre-trained transformer, where we have ChatGPT 4, and you can see with the symbol of a key lock here telling you that this one is a paid version. Of course, this one is much more powerful than 3.5, but 3.5 has been made available free for use. So here is just trying to tell you some of the typical things you could use ChatGPT to do. For example, it says you can use ChatGPT to design a database schema. Only people maybe in the IT or computer programming world may understand what database schema is. But you can also ask GPT to show you a code snippet, also in programming, or you can compare storytelling techniques or brainstorm about a given business idea, and so on and so forth. Now, usually I always want to start by asking by telling ChatGPT hi. So I'm going to write hi, ChatGPT, and then I press my enter key. And you can see here clearly, ChatGPT say, hello, how can I assist you today? So I'm going to tell ChatGPT to create some questions for me based on a given material that I'm going to provide it with. So in order not to waste time, I'm simply going to copy the prompt or the question that I've already crafted for ChatGPT. And here it is. I will copy it and then I will paste back into the ChatGPT. But I'm going to read the prompt so that you will see the instructions that I have given the ChatGPT. I said, you are an expert in computer architecture and computer hardware technology. I will give you some text materials as an input. You must ask me for the input before you proceed. I would like you to create 10 multiple choice questions with 4 answers or options to select from. Then I now said, note, only one of the answers should be correct. Ensure to bold the correct answer. Make sure the 10, okay, I think the 10 questions you create should test students' knowledge based on various Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Now, having crafted this prompt, I will simply press my enter key or click on this green button here. And then I want you to take a look at how ChatGPT is generating its response. But now it is also now look at what it says. It says, of course, I can help you create multiple choice questions based on the text materials you provide. Please provide the text materials or information you would like to use as a basis for the questions, and I will generate the questions accordingly. Once I have the input, I will proceed to create the questions. Now I'm going to switch back to the document where I have a little material, and then I switch back to ChatGPT. So here I'm going to paste Ctrl V, my input text material, and then I press on enter key. And I want you to take note of how ChatGPT is spitting out all this information at a very alarming and fast rate, speed. Now look at my OBJ questions have been created. Look at what it says. The first question, what is the defining characteristics of a distributed system? And you could see it has given me 4 answer options, with the correct answer being bolded here as D. And this is the second question. In a distributed operating system, what does transparency refers to? And these are all the answer options with the correct one bolded. So you can see, if you had to do this using the traditional method of creating questions, that will probably take you some hours. But here, in less than a fraction of a minute, you are able to create multiple objective test questions out of a material. And you can see we asked it to create 10, and it did create 10 exactly. Now, because this lecture is tailored towards the audience in the church, I would just want to share with us a little prompt that I did a demo today for our student pastor on how he could also utilize ChatGPT in writing his thesis. So I asked him what his thesis title was, and he told me that it is pastoral stress. You know, the effect of pastoral stress and its effect on the growth of the church. So, and I decided to craft a prompt, and then I'm going to paste the prompt and then read it so that we'll see. I said you are an expert in pastoral theology. In other words, I'm trying to give the ChatGPT a role to make it think like an expert in theology. So that's why I said he is, or rather he is. Let me use that, even though the ChatGPT is not a human being. And I said, I want you to help me to draft an outline for my thesis titled Pastoral Stress and its Implications on Church Growth. Now, I'm going to click on the green button, and then you'll see what will happen. Now, just look at how the ChatGPT is typing, spilling out all its responses as if it's a human being writing. And by the time it finishes, we are going to assess this. Look at what it says. It says, certainly, I can help you draft an outline for your thesis on pastoral stress and its implications on church growth. Here is a suggested outline to get you started. Now, look at introduction. Background and context, statement of the problem, purpose of the study, research questions, significance of the study, scope and limitations. The second chapter, literature review. Now, you agree with me that for those that have written theses before, if you are to come out with this kind of outline, it's certainly going to take you quite a while. Now, it is important for me to give a caveat or a warning here. We are not saying that you simply just copy and paste literally or verbatim everything ChatGPT is given to you, but rather you can actually use it for brainstorming, and at least it has given you a head start at some of the things you may want to do, and you could also do 1 or 2 adjustments, and then from there you can build on what you want to do. In fact, you can even go forward and ask ChatGPT to further generate some introductory, write-ups based on each of these outline, and ChatGPT can do that for you. Now, this is the second use case of ChatGPT. Now, let me go to the third use case of ChatGPT, and what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to ask it a question. Let me copy the question. You have to pardon me. Most of the examples that I will be giving here might be tailored towards the use of ChatGPT for education. And of course, it's because I'm a teacher. So look at what I said. I said, ChatGPT, can you create a rubric for me for my 9th grade class on a writing assignment on the Nigerian Civil War? Question mark. Now, rubric is an advanced form of a marking scheme where I want to give an assignment to students, and I want to bring out the criteria for them to see the criteria that I'm going to use to score them, so that a student will even be able to assess him or herself before he or she turns in the assignment. Now, I will press my enter key and let's see the rubric. Now, can you see Nigerian Civil War writing assignment? So it created a rubric based we can see we have criteria. In other words, I'm going to assess the student based on the content knowledge of what they write, how they organize their write-up, research, writing mechanics, argument and analysis, creativity and engagement, overall presentation. And for each of these, I gave an example. It's like we have the highest score here will be 4, while the lowest score will be 1. And these are the criteria that can make each of the students get any of this score. I say under the content knowledge, the student must demonstrate thorough and accurate understanding of the Nigerian Civil War, including causes, events, and consequences, and also provide insightful analysis and historical context, and so on and so forth. So you can see that within just an instant, it has been able to create a marking rubric for me. Total score out of 40. Of course, you could adjust it and even tell it out of what maximum score you want it to create the rubric, whether it's over 60 or over 100. And you see, it's even telling us here that we can feel free to adjust the rubric as needed to align with specific assignment requirements and grading standards. Now, I can even go further to ask it now. Suppose I want to email this to the student. So look at what I will do. I will now say, let me go back. So I will paste the follow-up question, and it is important for us to know that ChatGPT, has memory. So in other words, as you chat with it, it keeps remembering the previous questions that you've asked it. So I now say, can you add directions for my student and a copy of this formatted rubric? Maybe I want to post this, in the school's website or the department's website for them to have the rubric so that they can know how to go about doing their assignment. So I say, can you add directions for my student and a copy of this formatted rubric? So I'm going to press enter, and let's see what ChatGPT is going to do. So you can see it has created the directions, or just like if you like, instructions for the student, and attached the rubric to serve as a guide whilst they are working on their assignments. Now, I can also ask ChatGPT, like I said, if you are a computer programmer, to create a code for me. So let's assume I have a database, an Excel database located somewhere in my computer, and I am a Python programmer, for some of us that knows a little about programming, or a C++ programmer, or a Java programmer, and I want to write a code that will read the Excel database on my computer and load it into the Java integrated development environment platform for me to analyze. And suppose I don't know how to go about that and I want ChatGPT to help me do that, of course it can create this. So I can just ask ChatGPT, I say, assume you are an expert in Python programming. So can you help me write a Python code to load an Excel spreadsheet into my IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment for further analysis. Now I will simply press my enter key, and I want you to see where I would say this generative AI actually works on based on what we call natural language processing. You can see that I'm asking it the question just as I will ask a human being. I said, assume you're an expert in Python programming, full stop, and I say, can you help me write a Python code to load an Excel spreadsheet into my IDE for further analysis? And then I press my enter key, and then let's see. Look at it, what it says. You can see it's even giving me the steps. It says, certainly you can use the pandas library in Python to load an Excel spreadsheet into your IDE for further analysis. Here's a step-by-step guide and sample code to do this. Install pandas. You can see this is the code, how you do that. Then the next one is you import the pandas. This is the code on how to do that. The next one is to load the Excel file, and this is the code for doing that. And then the data analysis, this is how you do that, and so on and so forth. And believe you me, by the time you copy each and every of this line of code and transfer it into your Python program, the code is going to execute. So you can see that is that in programming. You can also ask ChatGPT to help you generate some business ideas. For example, I can say, hello, ChatGPT, can you help me suggest some entrepreneurial business ideas in fish farming. Entrepreneurial. Now, deliberately, I made a little typographical error here, but I want you to see that ChatGPT can indeed understand what I'm trying to actually ask, even though the error is not that phenomenal or much. So maybe you are lacking some ideas on some of the businesses you could do in fish farming. And look at what ChatGPT is saying. I asked it, can you help me suggest some entrepreneurial business ideas in fish farming? It says, certainly, fish farming can be a lucrative entrepreneurial venture. Here are some entrepreneurial business ideas in fish farming. The first one is tilapia farming for local markets. It focuses on raising tilapia, a popular and fast-growing fish species for local markets or restaurants. Consider using sustainable organic farming practice to appeal to health-conscious consumers. The second one is catfish farming, ornamental fish breeding, integrated fish breeding, integrated aquaponics farm, fingerlings production, fish feed production. You can see all these are related to fish. Farming. I can decide to focus on one and then ask ChatGPT to give me, to further develop this idea. So maybe let's pick the fish feed production. I can say, let's pick number 6. Can you further expatiate on what it is about? So I said, let's pick number 6. Can you further expatiate on what it is about? So look at what ChatGPT says. Certainly, fish feed production is a business idea focused on manufacturing and selling high-quality fish feeds to fish farmers. This business involves the production of nutritionally blah, blah, blah. You can see it's even telling you all the steps, how a fish feed production business, the feed formulation, the ingredient sourcing, on how you can source that, manufacturing process, how you can do your quality control, your product varieties, your packaging and labeling, your marketing and distribution, your distribution channels, your price strategy, your research and development, your compliance and regulations, your customer support, and so on and so forth. Now, supposing you are applying for a grant, to start this very particular fish feed production, you can even decide to ask ChatGPT, based on the aforementioned, based on the above generated information, can you create, a summarized business plan for me based on this fish feed production? And I can say, can you draft a summarized business plan for me based on the information you generated about fish feed formula production, and then let's see what ChatGPT is going to do. So let's see what ChatGPT has been able to do. It says, certainly, here's a summarized business plan for fish feed production venture. Title: Fish feed production, business plan summary. Business name here is just a handle for you to include your company's business name. Executive summary. Here you put your company's name. For example, mine is Makani Technologies International. I can say Makani Technologies International is a fish feed production business dedicated to providing high quality and nutritionally balanced fish feed to support the growth and health of fish in aquaculture, and so on and so forth. And of course, you are free to edit, remove, and add some other things. Look at business description, your mission statement, your products and services, your market analysis. You can see target market, local fish farmers, aquaculture association and cooperatives, agricultural supply stores and wholesales, market trends, and so on and so forth. So you could see that this AI tool can be a huge time saver whenever you are brainstorming or trying to do what we call ideation, to generate ideas on the different kinds of businesses or ventures you intend to go into. So all you need to do is just for you to unleash the power of your imagination, uh, and you can get virtually anything you want ChatGPT to do for you. Just like I mentioned in the chart, that the limitation of using this tool is only limited to the extent of your creativity or your imagination. And if you want to benefit immensely using this tool, then you must get, um, you know, you must sharpen your prompt engineering skills. And by prompt engineering, it simply means the ability for you to craft, incisive and concise, instructions for ChatGPT to respond for you. So I think I will just want to hold on here for this little demo. And I believe that this little demo will have gone a long way to inspire and spark your imagination towards using this great tool. I hope that the information I've provided has been very, very informative, and I would like to thank you for watching. So please do not forget to actually click and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that will encourage me to do more videos. Thank you very much, and bye bye.